Alright, so with now Ratika Greetwood being completed to 100% and ourselves now being at experience level 76, it only made sense for us to now, since we've reached that particular milestone, decide to come back here to the Crystarium because it's now time for us to, before we head on back to the main story, catch up again with Lue-Reeq after he pretty much got scorned by not only his rival, but also by his parents. Yeah, the pretty boy Mistel has not had much luck since level 74, but maybe that can change as we move on. So, with that in mind, hey there Elizabeth, Shima, and to everyone else that's just logging on, we're glad to have you with us here tonight. So, greetings people of the world, Matthew back with you here at Overall Autism for the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers Live. So yeah, before the main story resumes, we must turn back over to our friend Lue-Reeq. And we'll go ahead and take on his level 76 side quest challenge entitled The Hunter's Legacy. Lue-Reeq appears to have been struck by an epiphany. Sounds like me 2 days ago. Shinji, my friend, thank the gods you're here! Ever since we parted ways, I've been exhausting myself running all over the Crystarium, questioning anyone and everyone, hoping someone might have seen Andrea, but alas... Yeah, only the Crystarium? Like, so you haven't gone outside even for a bit? Yeah. Why are you narrating your search? Well, of course. Surely this is the limit of what a man with meager financial resources can accomplish. Yeah, he's not going to be spoiling us anymore. But never mind all that, for it recently dawned on me that the vision you beheld of Rendere's past could hold the clues for which we have been desperately searching. When you first described it to me, I felt as though I had heard it before. And I had. My wet nurse told me the exact same story when I was still a boy. It was a tale of a courageous hunter who, together with her comrades, embarked on a quest to slay a notorious mark, a great horned beast. They came upon their quarry in the desert, and there attempted to lay it low. Alas, the beast had a singular strength, and the hunter a fatal weakness. And so, in the ensuing struggle, her comrades were killed, leaving her the sole survivor to swear vengeance. Ah yes, that we saw in the Echo. Would you not agree that your vision is a perfect match for this tale? Yeah, indeed it does. Then there can be no doubt. Rendere is the celebrated hunter, the hero I so admired in my childhood. After that tragic day, the hunter resolved not only to rely upon others and instead slew the beast by herself. She somehow found a way to compensate for her weakness. Anyway, my recollection of the tale is likely riddled with errors. We should ask Miss Olvara to recount it in full. She was a bounty hunter herself before she entered into our service, you know. Also, in light of all this, I should share with you an interesting theory concerning all of the virtues I had heard from my fellow hunter. Apparently, each appears to be driven by particular memories, moments that forever changed each of these fallen heroes. Makes sense, doesn't it? In Rendere being a hunter of notorious marks in life and in death, I don't know why it never occurred to me before. But that is indeed the reason for why she behaves as she does. Then the more we learn about Rendere's adventures, the better our chances of predicting where she'll turn up. All the more reason to go and see my former wet nurse. Miss Olvara lives in Gate Town on Colusia. Let us be off then. We gotta go back there. Alright, away we go. Back to Colusia. Yeah, you're concerned that the talent pool is being diluted? But this is something that typically happens in life, whether it's in video games or anything else. Eventually, a lot of people who want to accomplish the same thing but aren't as skilled at it are going to eventually come along, and as a result, it's going to dilute the talent pool. Like, you'll see that in video games, you'll see that in sports, you'll see that in movies. Like, it's just a part of life. And so anyway, we found Lue-Reeq and his wet nurse slash midwife. Shinji, this is Miss Elvira, the wet nurse who raised me for practically the entirety of my childhood. She was wanted to my family and lived with us in the city at the time, but when I came of age, she was forced to leave. That sucks. Ah, you've grown into such a strapping young man, but I can't imagine you came to Gate Town just to pay me a visit, my little Reek. Not in front of him, if you please, but to answer your question, we did in fact come to see you. There were stories you told me as a child of a courageous hunter. Was that hunter perchance the warrior of light, Render Ray? Of all the reasons you could have had. Aye, those stories were of Render Ray, the greatest bounty hunter of a day, the legend so many aspired to become. Less so after the flood. It was still fresh in everyone's mind when I was younger, and for all the good they had done in life, none could deny the chaos they sowed in death. As sin-eaters. But despite of all that, me and my mates still looked up to her. We all knew her feats and swore to preserve them, in secret if need be, that she might inspire future generations as she had ours. So years and years later, when you wanted to hear tales of adventure and heroism, I couldn't help but share with you the ones nearest and dearest to my heart. I only wish I hadn't had to change all the names. Then it's true. The hero who I looked up to as a child, whose tales of daring do drove me to take up the bow as you had, to pester you for training that I might become a bounty hunter. It was her. Miss Elvira, Shinji and I are hunting Andrea, and we believe that one of the stories you shared with me may help us guide our search, namely the one about the great horned beast that killed her friends. Will you tell it to me again? Wicked white, is that? Oh, my little Reek, very well. Even as a young hunter, Render Ray's incredible hearing was unparalleled. She could track her quarry through a forest by the most minute sounds of the passing, from moms away even by some accounts. Even the most subtle and stealthy beast never eluded her for long. A misplaced foot or snap branch. Eventually, Render Ray would know, and her aim was always good and true. As she grew older and honed her skills further, she set her eyes on bigger prizes. She became a hunter of notorious marks, and together with her comrades earned fame and fortune. And so, as their reputation swelled, so too did their egos. Only the most dangerous game would suffice. And so, they resolved to hunt the scourge of Norant, the devourer of souls, Balam Quits. But what Render Ray did not realize that was her greatest strength would prove her undoing. For when she faced Balam Quits, the beast roared with such force that it brought her to her knees. Helpless, she could only watch as it claimed the lives of her beloved comrades and fled. Yeah, a vision we got to see ourselves. And so back over here, after burying the hunters and vowing that she would one day avenge them, she took to the road once more. She met Albert and his fellow warriors of light, and for a time she accompanied the fledgling heroes on their adventures. Yeah, there they all are. To them, she was a breath of fresh air, a young, vibrant woman who savored every moment and found joy in the simple pleasures. They knew not of her fallen friends or how their deaths weighed upon her still. The party wandered the realm, performing many great deeds and growing ever stronger, as did Render Ray. While in Clusia, she even devised a means to defend against the powerful war that had been her downfall that fateful day. No, I guess not, eh, there, Shima? And then, while engaged in an adventure in Raktika, a rumor reached Render-Ray's ears. Balamquith, Scourge of Norvrant, Devourer of Souls, had been spotted wandering the Setia swamps. 'Twas a golden opportunity, but to seize it would be to face the beast alone. She could not wait for Albert and the others, nor could she ask that they forsake their sworn duty. But perhaps it was just as well, for the memory of her defeat still haunted her. The courageous hunter had allowed a single fear to take root in her heart, the fear of losing her new companions as she had her old. So it was that Render-Ray ventured forth in secret, resolved to slay her hated foe, Balamquith, alone. And with all her strength and guile, the legendary hunter did just that. Vengeance claimed she rejoined Albert and the others and never spoke of the terrible battle twixt her and the dread beast. From that day forward, she was Render-Ray, the warrior of light, and the deeds of her and her comrades would be celebrated forevermore. It's strange to think that the woman I admired when I was young would become the sin-eater I swore to slay. What she became doesn't change who she was. Even if the tales were a little embellished over the years, they were rooted in truth. She was, and will, always be a hero to me. And to you, I hope. Thank you, Miss Olvara, for everything. I promise I will visit you again soon. And so now, Sir Shinji, remember that theory I told you about the virtues being driven by powerful memories? If Andrea is reenacting the journey leading up to her confrontation with Balamquith, the one that took her from Amarang to Calusia, then the next destination must be... yeah, the Raktika Wood, wasn't it? Yeah, we're not going with Il Meg. Right, that was where she laid low the beast at last, in the city of swamps to be precise. And so, that is where we shall go. Let us away! Now listen, Reek, there's an awful lot people don't know about Render-Ray, or the world for that matter. So, wherever you go and whatever you see, remember not to take it at face value. Don't just accept what others tell you is good and true. Listen to your heart and decide for yourself. And be safe. And so away he goes, and so we'll proceed to follow him. Shinji, was it? It is such a pleasure to meet a friend of Reek's. His parents never hesitated to provide him with all the wealth and opportunities they could. But when it came to love and support, well, all I can say is that it is a miracle that boy turned out as well as he did. Yeah, too much time in the gentleman's club, I think. One can never have too many friends or too much support. That goes for you as well, I should think. Yes, indeed. Absolutely true. Alright, let's head off to Raktika. Yeah, I'm surprised that group had the patience to go 6 rounds there with you, Shima. And so we have returned, but not to meet up again with this Stola and company. We have a job to do. So yeah, we'll reconnect with Lue-Reeq and be on our way. So you can see, of course, lanterns are now in use, given that evening has descended upon this place. So let's go and find our man, where we're about to engage in combats. So let's do this. When I was little, Miss Oliver seemed so much bigger and stronger than me. Though to be perfectly honest, the way she carries herself even now bespeaks of confidence I cannot help but envy. But never mind that, we have a virtue to hunt. Let us commence our search at once, and keep your weapons at the ready, my friend. Yeah, we don't need to worry about an item level restriction here. All we need is to be at level 76. Which you'll see why in a moment. So let's check the area out. But then, what the? Oh, it's her ghost. More specifically, Drew Mall's ghost. Huh, about time our luck took a turn for the better. There she is. Yes, indeed. Yeah, we see you. But then... Well, now? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Yeah, we're getting afflicted by the echo again. Like, this had to happen now? Yeah, we actually get to see Renda's scene for here. I wish you were all here with me, but I know it's better that you're not. And so in the driving rain, we've a score to settle, you lovely bastard, and this time I'm ready for your tricks. Yeah, there's the antlered curl she needs to confront and defeat. Yeah, it's boss time! So yeah, we now get to play as Renda Ray herself. Once the queue allows us to do so. Alright, here we go. Let's do this. Yeah, so Radiant Arrow is going to be our main damage dealing ability, but it has a cooldown timer. It's the only one to do so. But we also need to use Dulling Arrow at times when she cues us to do it. So yeah, we have to use Dulling Arrow right here to cancel out the pre-natural roar. Or preternatural roar, or whatever. Yeah, sadly it doesn't work on Mortal Blast. Stay away from that. Yeah, her heavy shot does pretty good damage. 12,000 apiece. It's really useful here. And a crit hit with the Radiant Arrow for 32,000. Whoa! Yeah, now we gotta start running. Alright, he stopped. But now, Dulling Arrow again. Yeah, the one instance where actually using a silence ability is useful. But yeah, you'll notice we can't use anything else. Primarily because we're not playing as a Dragoon, we're playing as a Bard. And we're being chased again. Take another heal. Yeah, 24 normally. Yeah, behind you, freak of nature. And we gotta run again. Now we've caused it to go and do a cross pattern. And now we gotta run again. Another Radiant Arrow. Yeah. As she continues to doubt her own thoughts. Yeah, step as much as you want. We're going to continue to be a step ahead. Yeah, keep on going, Renda. Got it close to half health. Yeah, you can feel it, can't you? Yeah, sadly, of course, as we mentioned before, we cannot stop Mortal Blast. Yeah, and now we have a stack mech. Uh-oh. We're down to 1 point. Yeah, the shock that took him away. And all of a sudden, Artbert comes to the rescue. And he's not alone. Yeah, the others are coming to help us out. Get me out of here! Safe. Yeah, now we got a stack mech again. Yeah. All the other warriors of light come to help us out. And not a moment too soon. Now we fight together. Yeah, so here we go. Don't tell me you just follow my trail. Yeah, Artbert's on the axe, Brandon is on the sword and shield, Silva is over with another sword, also using a sword and shield, and Nybert is our healer. And you also see that Bottom has now got a bit of an enhancement. Everyone in! Yeah, you'll see we're not damaging Bottom quits as much as we did. Alright, so stack mech again. As Dartboard continues to focus the attention over there. Almost got it down to a quarter. Yeah, good thing this is over there, not over here. But now it is over here. You troll. And it's time to cancel you out once again. Yeah, if only silence abilities actually were worthwhile. Well, now we're gonna get hit by Mortal Blast again. Yeah, and now our window of opportunity. Ooh, Nybird, you went too far. Well, you get a chance to redeem yourself here. Oh, stack mech again. And we're taking it far this time. Yeah, Nalbert is really taking it. And we also have our healer Lamets over here. Or Lamits or something. I don't know. In any event, we gotta keep moving in as much as we can. Being the bard that we are. Yep, everyone in. There we go. Up and again. But yeah, you'll see we're fighting as a party of 6, not 4, which is normal. Or as 5 for that matter, which is how we were first introduced to the Warriors of Darkness. Alright, now we gotta go full throttle here. Yeah, everyone's now running into the power circle so we can get our own boosts. It's now race to outrun Bottom Quits. There's a 34,000 and a 24k crit hit. Keep on going, guys. We almost got it. And there it goes. Vengeance achieved. And so with that, yeah, you just got a short circuit there, buddy. Awful bugger. Everyone all right? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, but I don't know what to say. Thank you, everyone. And I'm sorry for trying to go it alone. And why, pray tell, did you even try to do something so foolish? If we had been here from the first, it wouldn't have been anything even approaching a challenge.
Perhaps.
Back in the day, I was a bounty hunter. I've told you that much. But I haven't told you about my old partners. Together we tracked and claimed countless notorious marks throughout Northront. We were the best in the business, everyone knew our names and our reputation. They called us legends, and somewhere along the line we started to believe it too. And then we set our sights on Balam quits.
Yeah, that's when it all went wrong.
I survived, they didn't. I swore vengeance but had no idea to how to go about pursuing it. Then I met you lot and thought that maybe with your help I might just have a fighting chance. So you see, I never intended to keep it all a secret, it's just you never asked, and since I'd rather not talk about it. Easy to live in the moment, you know. The next town, the next job. The weeks flew by, and after a time I started having second thoughts. I lost those closest to me before. I didn't want to live through that again.
Which brings us to now. Are we or are we not comrades? Through thick and thin? Yeah, you gotta think about that, don't you? These bonds of fellowship between us must come before all else. Otherwise, they may as well not exist. Words of wisdom indeed. You say the thought of losing us pained you? What of our feelings? What of our loss? What if we had not arrived when we did? You saved our lives more than I can count. How dare you refuse to let us do the same? And without those keen ears of yours, I'll never know what bollocks Brandon and Nailbot are whispering about me behind my back. And ignorance is not bliss, let me tell you. Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah. And as we're discussing this, the sun comes out. Yay! This one's worth a fortune, and fame besides. I'll wager we won't have to pay for our drinks when we get back into town. Oh god, not another night to remember. Don't you worry your pretty head over our fearless leader's questionable constitution. Take pride in the victory, for a small folk will sleep easy once they hear of Balam Quits' demise. Until Ardbert's drunken snoring wakes them from their slumber. And on that note, I think it's time we quit this place. And Renderay, I trust that the next time you decide to hunt Deadly Game, you'll do us the courtesy of extending us an invitation.
And there I was, I thought I was doing you a favor by keeping out of my personal affairs. Selfish as it was. Oh fine, but if you go and die on me, I'll pay a necromancer to raise you from the dead so I can kill you out of spite.
Agreed. Now then, my cutting off whatever it is you need to take back as proof of kill. I don't want to lose our reward on a technicality. Yeah, let's go those huge antlers of his. Or just help ourselves to this green crystal.
Such a fine crystal. Why not hold on to it as a memento of this occasion?
Yeah, if there are 5 warriors of darkness, why is there a 6th person there?
Wake up, damn you! Hello?
Yeah, sorry.
What's wrong with you, huh? That's the second time your so-called gift has cost us a chance of slaying Andrea.
It's not my fault.
You know what? I've had enough!
Yeah, I'm sorry. Excuse me?
Enough, I say. Yes, I don't need your help. I'm perfectly capable of hunting the Sin Eater on my own.
Yeah, temper boiling over indeed. Yeah, we're gritting our teeth. Good luck with that, or it's past time I told you to piss off. Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, we are mad. And so is he.
Upon our return to Gate Town, you will be given your final payment and we will be free to go our separate ways.
We have to go all the way back there. Can't you just give it to me here and be done with it? As we welcome a new viewer to the channel, Blady. Welcome to Let's Play Overall Autism. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you with us here tonight. Which is more I can say for Lue-Reeq. Yeah. So impatient to get the kill, he won't even bother to understand why I'm having these visions. And so, we've returned. Yeah, let's head on back to a very ill-tempered Lue-Reeq. Yeah, it's like he's throwing everyone away just so that he can impersonate Render Ray. Yeah, he's throwing everyone away so he can impersonate Render Ray. Yeah, he ended up with a rivalry, he told his family to F off, and now he's telling us to do the same. Well, hopefully when level 78 comes around, he'll be a little more wanting to be listening to reason. Hello, you two.
I honestly don't know why I ever placed my faith in you. You are such a disappointment. Consider this the formal dissolution of our partnership. Let none ever again speak the names of Reeq and Shinji in the same breath. Yes, never again. And with that I bid you good day.
He'll be back.
When he was little, Reek's parents punished him for a time by withholding his allowance. Without money to lavish on his friends, he soon found that many were only drawn to him by his wealth. I dare say he feared you would abandon them as he did, and he decided to push you away first. I'm not trying to make excuses for what he said. I can only hope you can find it in your heart to forgive him. Take some time to think it over, then come and see me. Oh, and take this for your troubles.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had to get involved in this way there, Olvara, but yeah. We know we'll be crossing paths with him again, because like it or not, he's the best chance we've got at getting the mark that he wants dead.